Oh, yay, it was Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's minister of propaganda, who said that. I also find evidence that Vladimir Lenin said the same thing. And Biden's former minister of propaganda, Jen Psaki, seemed to have been of the same mindset. Here's a good illustration. Does anybody remember the Soviet Union's state-owned news media spoon-fed the Russian people only what the government wanted them to know? There was no free press, only government propaganda. None of the Russian people ever heard of Andrei Chikatilo, Russia's very prolific serial killer. Such things like that were not supposed to happen in their perfect utopian society, so it wasn't reported. America's equivalent to that is CNN, MSNBC, and, in summary, most of the corporate media who refuse to report on the Hunter Biden laptop. Same concept, and for the same reason. Politics. How did that happen? The short answer is money. Of course, that's not the only part of the equation. Their journalists lack any measure of integrity and will lie on air even when they know what they are saying is not true. They also know it's simply part of political warfare. The left hates America and everything about it, and their money controls much of what is reported in their media platforms. The talking heads read the script for generous salaries, so they don't object for fear of losing their position and assassinating their cash cow. Constitutional provisions they can use to advance their agenda are trumpeted loudly. But when the Constitution goes against their grain and interferes with their agenda, they demean it as old, outdated, and irrelevant. They flip-flop back and forth on the same constitutional provisions depending on their mood and or circumstances. Regardless, despite James Madison and Thomas Jefferson's suggestion in the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions in 1798 that the Founding Fathers should separate church and state, it is a prohibition that never actually made it into the Constitution. So, when it comes to church and state, don't trust the explanation of the left, especially when it's filtered through the corporate media. As they used to say in Western movies, they speak with forked tongue. The question that comes quickly to mind, therefore, coupled with a dollop of irony, is why they are so adamant about keeping out of public affairs a God they don't believe in, especially if he doesn't exist. Who benefits? But, wait. Let's remember the little old man behind the curtain is Satan. Enough said. If there is no God, why do courts insist on people taking oaths on the Bible? Why do leftists try to kick him to the curb? Isn't that an exercise in futility? A Lucy and the football scenario? Why are so many people so completely devoted to the demise of God when you can't kick something or somebody to the curb that doesn't exist? That's kind of like shadowboxing, i.e., fighting something that isn't there. But apparently, if the State Board of Education has their way, schools in California, where else, will be teaching high school kids that Christianity is evil, and the students will be singing and praising pagan gods. Yes, that's already happening. Remember, communist boss Vladimir Lenin once said,
"Give me 4 years to teach the children, and the seed I have sown will never be uprooted."
How does this happen in America?